I don't wanna hear any more small talk. Off that short pier, take a long walk. My style ain't free cause it ain't off top. I'm at your throat, go get a cough drop. I don't wanna hear any more small talk. Off that short pier, take a long walk. My style ain't free cause it ain't off top. I'm at your throat, go get a cough drop. It's kush. I love me too much and your brain turn to mush. Fall flat on your tush. You couldn't handle the product I push. I guess I'm just used to it, I just do it. Like Nike swoosh, none of that Reggie Bush cause I'm top shelf, I ain't got.
What's that? Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game.
All right, what's going on, people? We are back officially. No, things look a little bit different around here, but we'll get to that in a second. In the meantime, make sure that you're commenting where you're from. Let us know, and like I said, we'll make sure that we go ahead and get you guys going. But in the meantime, fellas, how's everything going tonight?
Doing good.
It's been a great couple weeks for me.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I'm glad to hear it.
I can wait. I can wait till getting into the show to elaborate on that.
No, we can start now. While we're getting into the show.
Stuff like, a certain team that was, Super Bowl ready, decided they want to rebuild at the last minute with Ryan. What's his name? Chapo? Chapo? What's his name?
Yeah, sure. Let's go with that.
They decided they wanted to just, give away a lot of people now. Even their best offensive talent in DH 22. They've been listening to offers and trading him. So it's interesting. Yeah, even though he's 29 and he has a lot of value right now, it's just odd that, a team that was supposed to be Super Bowl ready are now tanking for Caleb Williams.
Yeah, it's pretty sad. Considering that it's just like Derrick Henry was their bell cow, and now all of a sudden he's expendable. Sucks to suck. By the way, everybody, we need to go ahead and just point out that Josh is coming to us live from Ray's Boom Boom Room.
Yeah. Nah, this the room that I film my OnlyFans at.
It's a family podcast. It's a family podcast. Like, oh Jesus.
Head scratchers, I see.
I don't even know anymore. I don't even know anymore. But yeah, so let's go ahead and let's get started. All right, welcome back. Welcome back to the crew. Welcome back to the now HorseShoe Mob Podcast, where we're coming to you with everything Colts, making sure that you get all the news, you get all the inside scoops, and basically any news that we get, you get. Why? Because we love you guys and we want you to prosper. We want you to thrive. So, better with us. And make sure that if you are tuning in, you can tune in on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, everywhere. And yeah, so let's go ahead and get started. Well, before we get started, let's go ahead and introduce the guys. We have with us the silent assassin, Austin Cook, everybody.
What's up? I'm Austin.
All right. And we have the man that apparently has an OnlyFans, Josh Sr.
It's good. I'm not gonna give you my link.
You're for damn sure not going to. that is definitely not gonna happen. So we're gonna pass by that. And I'm Chris Jackson. So yeah. So in the meantime, people, it's been I'm gonna say it's been a pretty eventful offseason thus far. I want to say that it's the offseason has commenced, for lack of a better word. But you know what? Before we do that, let's get into some NFL news because there's a lot. Mm-hmm. There's a whole heck of a lot. I mean, it's let's see. Daniel Jones resigned today. 4 years, 160 million.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, he got overpaid.
Yeah.
Yep.
Considering they declined his fifth year option, insinuating that they were probably going to be done, but they ended up re-ing up with, an overpaid contract. But he did say, he wasn't close to what he was requested.
I just don't see Daniel Jones being worth that amount of money or being more valuable as a quarterback to a team than what Geno Smith was this past season.
Now, he was overpaid. I can say that.
I mean, I think in today's current quarterback climate, it's like 35 million is just like 35 million is what 20 million was probably like 10 years ago. It's just like I remember when Carson Wentz got his contract from Philly, that contract for as much as it was, I think he got like 28. And people were just like, that might be overpaying a little bit, which, now we see that it was. But, now it's just like the numbers are going up year by year. Now the standard is what Deshaun's making. And what Deshaun's making is what he got overpaid for, even though, he got 46 million a year. It really came out to about 37.
I thought it was 54 a year.
No. So 54 was the hard number after everything had kicked in, right?
Okay.
So technically, the amounts that were in were about like it was 5 years, $230 million. So the only reason why that ended up being the way that it was because he wasn't paid fully that first year. So some of that money trickled down into those other amounts.
Okay.
So that's the only reason that one ended up being as much as it was. But either way, it's just like, Deshaun is that standard, which is why it's like when you see somebody like Daniel Jones basically get paid, $40 million a year and have one playoff appearance, and then you have somebody like Lamar Jackson, who's a league MVP, who's, been a perennial playoff quarterback. And I mean, he's basically fighting for his life just to get guaranteed money. But
some of that his fault.
Yeah, it is to a certain extent. But we'll get back to that because there's more news. So a lot of guys getting released. Eric Kendricks, Bud Dupree, I think Robbie, who's now chosen Anderson.
Yeah, chosen.
I guess.
Yeah, he changed 3 times.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the tackle from Tampa Bay, Donovan. I think it was Donovan Smith. He got cut. Yeah, Byron Jones from the Dolphins got cut. I mean, and all
Frank
these
Clark.
are Frank Clark got cut. Like all these are moves to free up a lot of money. So I mean, when you see teams like Kansas City cut guys like Frank Clark, or you see the Dolphins get rid of, Byron Jones, I mean, are these teams that are basically looking to be aggressive in free agency? Are they just looking to free up money? Like, what is the overall thought process with these teams cutting these guys? I mean, Eric Kendricks is probably one of the most established names in Minnesota outside of, everybody on the offense. And for him to get cut is shocking.
It's not shocking because they're planning on cutting Adam Thielen too. And he has a 18 million free cap.
Okay. And that makes sense. that definitely makes sense too.
I mean, you got to sign Justin Jefferson, so you don't want to make him unhappy. You already let go Diggs years back, so you want to make sure your star get paid.
Yeah.
But
other
to
teams,
extent, if they're just gonna cut everybody, they're not gonna have a good team if they're only paying Justin Jefferson.
That makes sense too. They probably end up, probably drafting a receiver. Most likely, probably would, or picking up. Okay, they could trade for Hopkins from Arizona. So I mean, they could try to figure out where to stay competitive in that division because that division is going to be pretty bad. Yeah, it's going to be pretty bad because the Bears going to be bad. Packers, who knows right now, unknown.
Yeah.
The Bears will be good. Justin Fields is elite.
We're just throwing this word around again, huh? That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. We're just gonna continue to throw this word around. You know what? I hate it here.
Yeah, Austin been watching a lot of Chris Rock lately. But yeah, it makes sense though. I mean, I understand what you're saying, Austin. For us, you cut everybody, you guys won't be as competitive. But in their view, there's not a lot of competition in their division. But Aaron Rodgers could possibly leave into the Jets. So now it's wide open for them to keep the doors open.
Yeah. Yeah, it's absolutely possible, and that's all the more reason why it's weird to kind of see like all these teams cutting these guys, but at the same time, if you look at free agency thus far, there's a lot of guys who are out there who could go to a team and make an immediate impact. I mean, you have guys like, I think, who was it? You had guys like Jesse Bates from the Bengals. You have Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. I think the biggest name is probably going to be Orlando Brown, the left tackle from the Chiefs. I mean, it's just like he's like a franchise left tackle, and he's about to go into free agency and get like a ridiculous amount of money in a contract.
Yeah, I don't know what the Chiefs are thinking, letting him go.
I mean, it's money at the end of the day. The thing is, a lot of these teams, if you look at what a lot of these teams did, they all went into these games this season knowing that there was a chance that they wouldn't be able to re-sign guys. And the reason why was because of the fact that they just went all in. The Eagles are a good example of that. The Eagles went and picked up a bunch of guys. They picked up Bradbury. They picked up Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. It's just like A.J. Brown was somebody that they knew they were going to have to sign long-term. And then on top of that, for a fact that you're going to have to re-sign people at some point. I mean, this was supposed to be their Super Bowl year, and they come up short. And then this team is they have about 20 guys who are going to be going into free agency. And the way that it looks, it's just like they're not going to be able to re-sign 80% of them.
Yeah, I think it was Joe Mix. They asked him to restructure his deal. Right now it's up in the air. Plus, with the pending allegations against him, so I don't know. He can be cut.
Yeah. Hey, well, I mean, like I said, we'll definitely see. But one of the biggest names in the news was Lamar Jackson. And he got the non-exclusive franchise tag. So, for those who don't know, there's an exclusive franchise tag and a non-exclusive franchise tag. Non-exclusive franchise tag basically means that they're tagged at a certain amount. Right now, I think he's tagged at $32.41 million for the year. So that's how much he would be making for 1 year. Now, what'll happen is teams can still reach out, and he can still technically meet with teams, and they can offer him a contract. They can offer him a deal. If they do reach a deal with Lamar, it's going to be 2 first-round picks, and basically they're able to just snatch him up.
That's if the Ravens don't match the deal.
Yeah, if the Ravens don't match it. Yeah. If the Ravens don't match it. But what I want to know is, Austin, do you see a team being able to offer as much as they're asking for and then give them the 2 first-round picks?
Well, we saw today that a lot of people are already out. Like, they don't want to do that. But I would have thought that there would be more people that would want to. I think, like, there has to be a team that is willing to give up a lot of money and draft picks, because some teams don't value draft picks as much as Chris Ballard does.
Correct.
Yeah, I mean, I personally would like the Colts to do that and bring Lamar to Indianapolis. Because, I mean, it's going to take 2 first rounds to move up unless we just move up to 3rd, which is a possibility. So, I mean, sure, it would be a lot of money. I get that.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure the notion is to see what you have with Huntley possibly, and maybe trade up into that top 5 for a quarterback. But Josh, what I'm going to say, what is the most plausible, I'm going to say, scenario for the Ravens to get what they're looking for? Because right now it's just like, I don't know why you wouldn't, keep Lamar, but what do you think is like the mindset right now of what they're doing?
I mean, historically, the Ravens have won with pretty much any quarterback behind that center. They won with Kyle Bowler. They won with Joe Flacco. They won with what's the one with Super Bowl? What's the guy that won the Super Bowl? Trent Dilfer.
Dilfer, yeah.
Trent Dilfer. And they won with Huntley. So I mean, they have won with a lot. I mean, backups and won with guys that you thought that wasn't, good. I mean, Joe Flacco right now is the best quarterback they had in history, other than right now. Lamar, if he continues, he's going to continue breaking records. He'll be the best. But they feel like, if a team could, like us, okay, let's say we trade, give them 2 picks. They will get their 4th pick. They probably go draft Anthony Richardson, which he's similar to Lamar, but he's more he can throw better. He's more accurate than Lamar. Lamar is really limited in his game, other than just a running quarterback.
Yeah.
And that's probably why they're okay with giving him up, because they see his ceiling, and it's the same.
Yeah. I mean, it's being able to go into this free agency knowing that you're not paying a quarterback, and knowing that you have cap space, you have draft capital, extra draft capital, because the thing is, they still keep their first round, and then they're looking for 2 more. So imagine, let's just say, and I don't even want to put this in there because it's just nightmare fuel. But let's just say Houston decides that they'll go and make a run at them. They give up 2-12 on top of that. The Ravens then basically retool their offense and defense.
Just like that.
And they use this whole draft. Not only that, but the thing is, you have the money in cap space to be able to go into free agency knowing that you'll be able to do as much as you possibly can, because Baltimore is a team that can self-sustain. Of course, Lamar, I'm going to say Lamar is very, very luxurious in what he can do. But, I mean, let's just be honest. It's just like Baltimore is going to find a way to plug and play either way.
Yeah. Didn't they went to the playoffs back-to-back years without him? I think last year they went without him, and then the year before that, I think. I forgot. It wasn't Huntley.
So technically, they didn't necessarily go without him. It was more so the fact that it's just like he was able to go to a certain extent, and when he was win the game, like, he's winning.
Yeah.
Like, I think he was, or I can't remember the record, but the thing is, they were well over 500 when he got hurt, and they just missed playoffs. But they just missed playoffs with Huntley.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. Okay.
So I mean, it's tough to call, but at the same time, it's just like, I can't diminish what he does because I think he's phenomenal. But it's one of those things where it's just like they're finding ways to make sure that he's not getting, what he deserves. Because I mean, let's just be honest. Right now, you have your top 9 highest paid quarterbacks are Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray, Deshaun Watson, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones is officially making $5 million less than Patrick Mahomes.
Man.
Criminal. It's criminal. And I mean, honestly, it's just like Kyler Murray's, you could say, is criminal. Okay. Deshaun Watson, I mean, he's done well, but at the same time, it's just like that's still a whole heck of a lot. Aaron Rodgers is just Aaron Rodgers. But then you have Daniel Jones is making $3 million less than Josh Allen.
Well,
and he's tied with Dak Prescott, who's mid, and he's also tied with Matt Stafford, who got that contract after he won a ring for Los Angeles.
Now, Dak Prescott is definitely criminal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. I mean, they're a great regular season team, but what's in playoff hits? So yeah, I mean that's what that is. So let's
It's gonna be interesting to see what Malik Willis get in a couple years.
he's going to get 2 bags of flaming hot Cheetos and a bootleg copy of Pootie Tang. So
But no, Trevor Lawrence though, like on it for real, Trevor Lawrence, if he continue playing the way he playing, he definitely is gonna be up there on that list.
Yeah, the Jags will have to pay him.
Yeah, he's definitely gonna be on that list. He's Joe Burrow. I mean, he's considering taking a pay cut or taking less money so they can build around the team, build the team around him. But yeah, eventually he's gonna be up on that list as well.
Okay. Okay, yeah. So I mean, if anything, that I think you're going to see players who are going to have to be paid eventually. But I mean, like I said, when you look at Joe Burrow, and then you also look at I think Trevor Lawrence is still a little bit early to tell with him because I mean, he just was able to come on late, but now he's going to have to do that consistently with that type of production. So I mean, he's going to have to like continuously just put up good numbers when it comes to that. I will say though that now talking outside of established QBs, like back to Lamar, who's an established QB. How does the recent Lamar Jackson news change the outlook of this upcoming draft?
I mean, let's say a team like Carolina, who's been rumored to trade up with us, trade up for the spot, along with us. If they go ahead and get him, the trade for him, give up 2 picks for him, that takes another team off the list of getting a quarterback and possibly trading up for a quarterback. So it kind of helps us. We know that the Raiders said they're out. Even Carolina said they're out, but it could, get back in it because it could possibly take a whole lot to get their first pick. Coming from number 9, it might it might take a whole lot. So they might end up being interested in getting him. And of course, nobody wants Carson Wentz. He's probably a backup now. So it kind of helps us a little bit. Who else?
Okay.
Who else needs a quarterback? Seattle. They should need a quarterback. They just signed one to a mega deal, so they should be off the market.
I don't see Seattle. So, and the other thing is that let me point this out because this was something that we saw earlier because there was like a handful of teams that said that they weren't going to pursue. Now, the Raiders, Dolphins, Commanders, and Panthers are out on pursuing Lamar Jackson.
Said the Raiders. Well, Dolphins said they wouldn't mind re-signing Tua, but hey, I don't know. They said it could be in on Tom Brady, but
yeah. So, well, I mean, Tom Brady said he's not coming back. He said that he's right now he's not focused. He said he's not focused on football. He's focusing on helping his daughter raise her kitten. So that's what that is. Literally that's the quote. That's the quote that I saw. So yeah. And so and I think those are the teams. I think there were a few more teams that said that they were out earlier.
Falcons, I know, said they're out.
Yeah, Falcons too.
Oh, Falcons, yeah. So I mean, honestly, that only leaves but so many, and even with that, it's just like it's not going to be what's needed or what you're looking for. Like the 2 first-round picks is what makes things a little bit crazy right now. Because I'm sure there's a lot of teams that would be looking at, have to move some money around because, I mean, based on what he's asking for, there's no telling.
Unless he's willing to bring down that offer with another team.
Yeah, but if he brought down the offer, then the Ravens could just match it, and then he's stuck there.
You're right about that. And he probably don't want to stay after going through all those back and forth negotiation and not getting what he wants. He probably wouldn't want to go back.
Yeah, and once again, we're just talking about somebody who has delivered, but now it's just like it's kind of in a tough spot because he's getting paid way less than people who are less talented than he is and who have done less than he has.
Yeah.
It's pretty, it's sad that it's gotten to this, and especially for them to do the non-exclusive tag. It's just like, hey, teams are gonna have to come calling, and they're gonna have to give up this and give up that, and then they're still gonna have to pay you. What are you gonna do now? It's like it puts you in a really, really tough spot. So it's just like now it's like he either has to play ball or he has to just continue betting on himself, which sucks because he doesn't deserve to be put in that position.
Well, I mean, I'm starting to look at Eric DeCosta, the GM of the Ravens, because you let a guy like him get away. I don't care if you get first picks anyway. I mean, those guys not going to equal to his talent.
Yeah.
I'm starting to look at him like, hey, get this guy out. You should lose your job at some point if you guys not successful with those picks, because I mean they can pick a quarterback in this draft, they can pick a quarterback in the next draft, and those guys don't work out, and you let this guy get away and go to said teams. You're definitely not going to the division in their division because those teams are set right now. But
Yeah.
and what's the likelihood he does go to the Steelers, which would never happen. That could hunt them. But I mean, I'm sure he probably go to the NFC. He probably wouldn't even stay in. He probably wouldn't even stay in the AFC.
No,
Because-
he's
well-
coming to Indy.
I mean,
well,
you never know.
So we're sending the Mayflower down.
But would you really think that? Because they really hate us. This history goes back years and years and years, 30-some years since we left. 37 years like that since we left. You think they would give us a quarterback and then we play them this year? I doubt that. I don't know.
Yeah, well, you know what? Also, it's like, yeah, you can look at the history. You can look at, a heated beef that goes back years and years and years. But at the same time, business is business. And if Indy said, "Hey, we'll give you the 4th overall pick this year, give you our first next year, and then you give us Lamar," no matter how much you hate him, you're going to play ball. Like there's no way around it. You're going to you're not going to sit there and say, "Oh no, I'm not going to deal with them because I hate." If you have a top 5 pick that's on the line and a team says, "Hey, this is what we're going to give you for them. What do you say?" They're not going to reject that.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense.
And honestly, it's just like you look at potentially having Lamar set up where he'd probably sit out. I mean, I could see Lamar sitting out for a year under the franchise tag because
Yeah.
you don't want to play under that. I mean, I know that Lamar has kind of struggled to be on the healthier side, whatever. But the thing is, you get hurt on a franchise tag, you're screwed. And that further diminishes the value, that further diminishes what it is that he's able to do. And now you see somebody who's going to have to be on a prove it deal. He's going to have to do, 1 year for 20 million or something like that in order for him to go and be able to get back up to that mega contract level. But by then, you have teams next year who are going to be looking at this next draft class and be like, "Oh, well, these guys, there's going to be about 8 good quarterbacks coming out of next year's draft."
Right. It's playing in their favor right now,
Yeah.
but we don't know. I mean, they're kind of playing with fire right now.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely they are. But that's all the more reason why it's just like this situation makes things, I'm going to say, more volatile because it's just like now it just looks like they're absolutely just trying to get rid of him.
Yeah.
So, but either way, so as we talked about some of the newer quarterbacks, the NFL draft combine was this past weekend. And we had a chance to see some great things happen, see some not so great things happen. But I want to know, what was you guys' impressions on some of the prospects this past weekend?
Anthony Richardson is an athletic freak.
Okay. Yeah. You got on the nose. Yeah. What about you,
That's
Josh?
Shout out to my boy number 7, Will Levis. He was outstanding.
I'm muting you.
I just want to say Stetson Bennett had a better deep ball than Will Levis. He showed off his cannon real well.
I thought you were about to compliment Stetson Bennett. I was about to be like, you're muted too. You guys, everybody's gonna be listening to me. Like, no, absolutely not.
Yeah, but CJ Stroud is another reaction that we kind of knew what was going to happen at the combine, along with AR-15. They both put on a show, and this both of their stocks is still high. They said. I mean, I saw a tweet saying that Anthony Richardson could go number 1 overall. That's how good he did this past weekend. So that shaked up a lot of things until Bryce throws.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And I'm gonna go outside of the norm. I'm gonna say I would love for us to take Andrew Voorhees, even though he tore his ACL. I would love for us to take him like as a late pick, so that once he's recovered, he'll be able to come back. Because I'll tell you, I don't know if you guys saw it, but he tore his ACL doing a drill. And mind you, he's a guard. So he tore his ACL doing a drill. A little while later, he comes out on crutches in a leg brace, and he does the bench press.
Oh,
Now, mind you, he does the bench press with a torn ACL, and he puts up the most reps for any of the O linemen in the group with 38 bench presses on there. And I believe it was 38 reps at 225, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, this guy's a real deal.
That's
And
impressive.
for me, it's just like that shows like a lot of guts, because the thing is, you're still participating for as much as you can, even when you can't anymore. So I'm gonna say it's just like I'd love for us to take the flyer late, even going like a 4th or 5th round pick. Let him rehab, let him get back to speed, because I'll tell you, next year he is going to be an absolute monstrosity.
Yeah. How far do you think he'll drop though? Because I think he was projected maybe in the 2nd round.
So I think that he will drop because of the fact that
Yeah. And he tore his ACL.
he tore his ACL, and the thing is, tearing your ACL at this stage is tougher, because let's just say you speed along. ACL injuries generally used to be about 11 to 12 months. Now, if you streamline it 8 to 9 months, that's fine. But the thing is, he tore his in March, which means that he's not going to be available till November, possibly December. So the thing is, if you're somebody like the Colts who has a putrid O-line and you need somebody at guard, you don't mind doing something like that, because in the meantime, for a fact that it's just like, you know what, you can get by, you'll be able to just do whatever you can. Plus, I know that Shane Steichen is going to draw up some plays that don't require people to just be a sitting duck. Like, there's going to be different combinations. There's going to be different types of zone runs. There's going to be different types of things that we'll be able to do with the offense that won't require us to be just in one spot. But this is what's going to be important. It's going to be important that you have somebody who's going to be there waiting in the wings just in case. And for me, it's just like getting him, letting him heal up, and then having him out there. It's just like, I think we can go back to having that top 5 O-line unit like we've had in previous years, as long as everything is done properly during this offseason.
Well, another reaction was Jalen Carter.
Jalen Carter, yep.
The Jalen Carter, yeah, that was tough. That's tough. He could drop. I mean, I'm not saying to us, but he could drop down maybe to top 15, maybe even top 20.
Yeah. I know that he is going to drop. I mean, I think it's very similar to what happened with Laramie Tunsil. However, it's not as serious, or the Tunsil situation wasn't nearly as bad as what this is for Jalen Carter. And I mean, with Laramie Tunsil, it's just like he got caught doing something that a lot of people do. Only problem is that it's just like he just did it and it was on video. But the problem that you have with Jalen Carter is that, this is something that happened last month. And he had a chance to, cooperate with police and do all that. And he didn't do that until Combine weekend.
Yeah.
And so, it's just like the optics are bad. It's like it's terrible decision making. Like there's a lot that goes into all of it that just makes it like this is just like this is the kind of stuff that you don't want going into a whole new regime, a whole new thing. Like you don't want somebody coming in, because the thing is, it's just like you don't want them to get in trouble when they're in the league, and here he is doing a bunch of craziness outside of the league.
Right.
Like that's like Isaiah Wilson on steroids.
Yeah, he makes it's bad. It's unfortunate, but he did say a crime. So we'll know more later, but he can potentially not get drafted at all.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. And so that's the reason why it's going to end up being that he's going to, I think at the very most he'll still end up going top 10. But I don't see him being that top 5, top 3 talent anymore, or top 3 pick anymore, because it's a scary situation.
Right. Yeah, that's another reaction. I know the other guys, some other guys, other talented guys, had good pro days. Not pro days, combines. Will Anderson, guy from Texas, Longhorn.
Oh yeah. What was that? That wasn't Nolan Smith, was it?
Nolan Smith was Georgia.
Oh, Georgia. Okay.
Yeah, he had a great day.
He had a great day. I forgot the guy from Longhorn, but he had a great day too. The running back as well from Longhorn.
Oh, Bijan Robinson.
Yeah, he was a beast.
So then, with that being said, and we're gonna kind of go over this a little bit more, I'm gonna say in the coming weeks, but what I'm gonna say, what is what I'm gonna say, what's one big thing that you're looking forward to from the combine that could potentially go ahead and work its way into free agency? At least with the Colts, because like I said, I want to talk about any other team, but something that you know that the Colts might have seen that changes their approach to free agency and how they're going to be doing the re-signings.
Possibly defense, because we could possibly lose 2 linebackers.
Yeah.
Which I saw on average the guys could make about 12 to 14 million a year in free agency. And they reported teams, of course, the Bears, because they got the most cap.
Yeah, this is true. And so then, what about you, Austin?
Well, it doesn't have much to do with the combine, but I have a feeling Bobby Okariki's gonna leave, but I also have a feeling that we're gonna re-sign Paris Campbell, and I think that'd be good because he had a really good year this past year. So
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I hope he does too.
Okay. Yeah. And so I'm going to say, well, a little bit of both. I can see that if Bobby walks, we're definitely going to be going linebacker, probably with our third pick in the draft. But I think maybe the Colts do actually go ahead and inquire about Lamar, not sign him, inquire about him.
They should. They should do that, just to see where they at. Check medical records, check, make sure, even offers, see how much you really offer, how much you really wanting in the contract, the length of the contract. See, see all those things before picking our guy next month.
This is true. So you think that they would unequivocally just pick somebody in the draft and not go with Lamar at all?
I mean, they should check, like you said, inquire about them. Even meet with them. Just talking just to see what what everybody want to know. What are you really see yourself, making worth? What is your worth, Lamar? Because you turned down contracts in Baltimore. What do you really want? Is it the length of contract? Is it the guarantee? What does it really want? Because they say turn down a shitload of guarantee money.
Well, the thing is, it is guaranteed, but the problem is that, you have guaranteed money. Like, let's just say, for example, Daniel Jones was able to get, I believe, Daniel Jones got, or I think it was either Daniel Jones or Derek Carr, where I think one of them got $100 million guaranteed.
That was Derek Carr yesterday.
Yeah, Derek Carr.
He got $150 million deal. 100 of it was guaranteed.
Yeah, and that's the thing for me, because Derek Carr has proven nothing, and he's been in the league almost twice as long as Lamar has, and Lamar has more accolades that should warrant to be able to have the amount that you have when it comes to that. Now the thing is, I don't know if Lamar wants a fully guaranteed contract, or whether he's just looking for a certain amount with guaranteed money. But I mean, you have to eventually get to the point where you're just like, listen, if this guy's in our future, then absolutely, let's do it. Because all this thing is doing, especially when you just paid Roquan Smith 5 years, I think $100 million, you have the money.
Yeah.
Pay the guy.
They're concerned. I guess it's the injury things that they don't want to, they don't want to have to be invested in paying a guy, that kind of money, and he's injured again. So they're probably looking at taking into account that the past couple of seasons he's been injured, and so they don't want to invest long term in a guy that could potentially be injury prone.
Yeah, but I mean, the Ravens have never shied away from paying guys who are injured. I mean, Ray Lewis was hurt a lot too.
Yeah. And
Ed Reed had issues with injury. Suggs had issues with injury. I think Doomerville had issues with injury. Ronnie Stanley, it's just he's had, ever since he tore his Achilles or tore his ACL, he's had some. And the thing is, they've never shied away from saying, well, we need to restructure your deal. They've never said we have to restructure your deal. They're just paying them. So at this point, it's just
they haven't shied away of trading players away either. I mean, the guys did have Orlando Brown Jr. and they traded him away.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, they traded him away for this reason right here, because they knew that they had a year where they were going to have to pay him, and they knew that they weren't going to pay him, so they got their they got their draft capital for him, and then that was it.
They don't know what they want then. Like I said, I'd be looking more at the GM than I would be at Lamar, because Lamar turned out some contracts and guarantee money, but then what is Eric DeCosta doing? What is he doing? What are you trying to build? You trying to build a running team, passing team, and what is he doing?
Yeah, and that's the big question. But like I said, we'll be back covering more of this next week. And like I said, we're going to actually go a little bit more in depth in the combine. This way we can go ahead and just talk specifically about the prospects, because I mean, we're coming up on a time where it's just free agency is coming up, and I don't know if we're going to see bargain bin Ballard or we're going to see, new look Ballard, but we'll see what's happening. So in the meantime, please make sure that you're following at @HorseShoe_Mob. And guys, tell the people where they can find you on Twitter.
You can find me on Twitter at CookieAustin2.
Yes, you can. All good. What about you, Josh?
You can find me on Twitter at I am Josh Singer.
All right. And you can find me at CJ Colts fan. Like I said, make sure that you're following at HorseShoe_Mob. And we will see you next week. And just remember,